What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling today?
It's good.
Chilling.
So is Jada Pinkett a bitch or what? No, I'm joking.
Coming in hot.
I'm joking. Hold on. Oh shit, I got Jay-Z library cards everywhere. Yeah, I went around grabbing up the Jay-Z collectible library cards today.
So you had to go to each branch?
So apparently there's like 30 branches of libraries still around. I didn't even know people read still. People be inside. They be in there reading. I didn't even know. Using the computers and shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is still a thing?
It's like for people that want to look up stuff that they don't want to trace back to their browser. Like if they want to,
so like terrorists.
Yeah,
we're going straight
like,
to Israel. Not Jada. Let's go to the Gaza Strip.
or like if you want to kidnap people, or you know.
I was working out in the Jewish neighborhood today, and I heard that the Hamas had put up this whole thing like, yo, calling for jihad, basically acts of terror, or whatever. I don't know what the actual term is, but you know, the city's been on high alert.
Yeah, I heard it's all hands on deck, like all NYPD had to work today.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the garbage men too. No, I'm just saying. But yo, this morning I was seriously thinking about calling out. Like, I don't want to be in the middle of them. And you know, there was this guy. I was going to pick up a bag of garbage. And this guy had like a hoodie on and a vest, and he walked up to like this Jewish building, and I was just looking at him like,
what he about to do?
Yeah, not right now, dog.
Not while I'm out here.
Dude, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna stay away from that topic. I am gonna stay away from that topic. You don't know why I'm gonna stay away from that topic? Because it's people dying, both sides. It's like I don't think that's something that we should be lending our just unknowledged opinion about from hundreds of thousands of miles away, this or that. I will say I've seen it, a lot of support for one side. I will say that. And then I've seen a lot of, and that's coming from the people. Do I want to say this? Financial interests, it seems, are being protected on one side. Whereas those who don't have anything, any investment on the other side, they're being unspoken for.
Right.
And so do your knowledge, you know what I mean? That is not saying that what is happening on one side or the other is right. I'm not going to say that. I don't believe that. But I do think that we should be doing our knowledge. And man, I wish that power to the people was a real thing. I really do, because anyway. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Dodge, how are you today? You got shorter. I am sitting here with marriage restoration coach Siobhan Davis. I met her at what was that thing that we did?
Love Wins Workshop?
Love Wins Workshop.
Yeah, it was a workshop for couples who were just looking to get some tools to enhance their relationships, or get the tools to be able to get into a relationship and get bagged. So that's where we met.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And Tahoe, you were there?
I was. And
okay, no invite? Okay.
Melly was there.
Oh, okay.
I invited somebody.
That was his plus one.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Come on. I actually had two people. Come on. Would you have wanted to go to that?
Sure, why not?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. But yeah, it was a good time. I actually spoke and it sounded like I made some sense, I think, for 2 seconds.
A lot of sense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was good. All right, well, let's hope that we can do the same thing today, because we got a lot of relationship things to talk about. I knew Shivonne was coming. I've been waiting for her to get her on the show for some time. And just like that, the celebrity started going crazy.
Yeah.
Before I ask that, Trump, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good. I'm in a good space, in a good mood.
Yeah?
Yep.
No throwing nobody under the bus anymore after the last comment? Did no invite? You good?
No, I'm good. I got it all
That's
out.
That's it? Yeah. One thing that I did post this week that kind of went crazy was asking, I have a question about relationships myself. I'm going to jump right in myself before we get into the obvious fuck shit that is running rampant. Why does she need to continue opening her mouth? I don't know. But she does. She feels the need to get that red table off. In dating, Say you seriously like somebody. This is a question that just came across. Say you seriously like somebody. You're dating. You just started dating. Y'all feeling each other. Sex is great. Cooking for each other. Whatever it may be. Right? You're in. You're liking it. Conversations come up about the future. Because when you first start dating, you're doing light future things. You know, whatever. But whatever. It could happen on the first date. This conversation could happen on the first date. You want kids. The person does not want children. You're not necessarily looking for a relationship. They're not necessarily looking for a relationship. Do you continue dating?
I think it depends on the age.
I can't hear you, brother.
I would say I think it depends on your age and where you at in life. Like if you ready, if that's the next step, if you feel like this current or next relationship needs to lead into something, a family, then yeah, you could kind of say you're wasting time if you you know what I mean? It'll be frustrating on both sides if you get to that point, you know what I mean?
But sorry. But say you have sex. Aren't you risking getting pregnant once you start having sex?
That's a fact. You are risking getting pregnant once you have sex. But I would say if you're dating and you know that your values don't align or where you want to go and your life does not align, do not continue dating that person, because we say like, all right, we're just going to mess around or it's going to be this and that. Feelings get exchanged. People want something different. And one of the biggest mess ups, right? F ups in relationships when we start, we think that we can change the other person's mind. And you really can't. Like once I'm sold on what it is that I want, if I don't want any children, if I don't want more children, if I already have kids, I'm kind of like already stuck to that. So you're going into it knowing that we already out of alignment. I wouldn't advise having sex, right? Because that can be a product of it, right? The soul tie, but also that can be a product of it. And it's like, but you already knew. And you really risk heartache, being left. You risk all those things because you
child
knew.
Support.
Come on, that part, right? Because I'm not gonna stay with you just because we had a kid if that is the product of it. So I think once you know that a person is not in alignment with what it is that you want, break out.
How probable is that?
How probable is that?
Let's seriously think about this. How probable is somebody who actually likes somebody else, they're dating, to say, you know what, all right, you don't want kids, I want kids eventually, I'm not gonna fuck with you. How probable is that?
I would say in today's society is not high. There's not a high probability of that. And I believe that's because people, as I said to you, people think that they can go in and change somebody else's mind. And when you first start dating somebody, you're really sending your representative. You want to present all the ways, you want to do all the things that's going to get you got or keep you kept, right? Because we're dating from that place of trauma, a lot of us. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to say that this thing is bothering me, but it is. And then you run into a lot of red tape with that. A lot.
Problem is, though, more so like when a chick gets with a guy and she likes him, ain't too many niggas that women like. Like, y'all don't run into nigga after nigga after nigga that you like. It's not a thing. You know what I mean? A chick will be dating mad long and niggas turn out to be stalkers. Niggas' dick don't be little. Whatever it may be. He's financially not, you know, there's always some bullshit. We go into some of that today with dating. So when a chick actually likes somebody, is she really gonna make the best choice for her future?
Does she really like him though? That's a question to be asked as well. Like, is it because I like him or I'm just so used to being in betrayal of myself that I'm willing to put what I want, take what I want off the table to be picked?
What's betrayal of myself?
Betrayal of self, like knowing what I want, knowing what my values are, knowing the things that I want to do, knowing the career path, knowing where I want to live, but I'm willing to put myself last just to be picked by somebody.
Isn't that like 99% of women?
That's what I'm saying. So is it that she really likes him? I really like him. I really want to be with him. Or I'm dating from a place of scarcity. What if I don't meet another dude like him?
Right.
That's one of the major problems.
Trauma. Speaking about women so much, how often did you actually, in dating before you was in a relationship, how often did you run into a chick, you saw red flags all over the place, and you actually said, yo, you know what, I'm going to move on, before just allowing her to end it somewhere?
Yeah, you're right. I never really...
He said never.
He said he never really. Let me hear where he going with this. He said, I never really
made like a sudden judgment, like, yeah, this ain't gonna work long term. I would say most of the women that I dated, I didn't see a long-term potential. But I knew that I was dating temporary. I knew that it was a revolving door. And that's why I say it depends on where you at in your life.
Yeah.
Not just your age, but where you at. Like, if you know you casually dating and you're just trying to have fun, then that's different than you're expecting within the next couple of years or so to have a family. So that means your next relationship, your next mate should be somebody that's wife potential.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're not in that stage, then you like, I'm 10 years removed from that. So who I'm dating right now don't fucking matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just trying to have fun. If you fit in my life right now, then whatever.
Now, as a marriage relationship coach, how often do you tell a couple this is not going to work between y'all?
I never do.
Have you ever felt that way?
Absolutely. I've felt that many times, but I also stand on the belief that if a person wants to put in the work, anything is possible. I'm not there to suggest that you should or should not be together. I'm there to help you work through the barriers that's keeping you from being in harmony. So it's not for me to say, leave him, leave her. Like, what do you want out of this, and how much work are you willing to put in to get what you want? Because it's not about the other person putting in the work. Right? What do you want? Can you see yourself really putting your hand to the plow? Can you see yourself shooting in the gym for you to get what you want out of this relationship? Because that creates a different dynamic.
So, I know you can't like act on it, but do you ever have like favorites? Like in a couple?
Absolutely.
And you'd be like, yo, you know, the dude is trash, but and then the chick, you like texting her on the side, like, be careful, sis.
So that's the thing. I've never met couples where I'm just like, he's trash or she's trash. Usually when I'm going into a coaching relationship with somebody, I'm understanding that there's so many layers of why a person can't see themselves powerfully. So I'm trying to help you break down those barriers around your faulty belief system about you and why you even picked this person. So that's different than me coming and saying like, he's shit, she should have never been your wife. I never see it that way because I'm wired to like see the potential in what a relationship can be and help people maximize their full potential on that.
Now, we spoke when you talking about coming on the show. We spoke about a term called relationship trauma.
Yeah.
What exactly is relationship trauma? And in your opinion, right, it just for shits and giggles, who carries more relationship out of the genders, right? I don't want to do a gender war, but what does let's say who carries more, the women or men going forward at our age, whatever it may be, and what is the basis of that relationship trauma for, say, men versus for women, or is it different? Is the questions all three in one?
It is different. Ask me the first one again.
Yes.
What is relationship trauma?
So relationship trauma is anything that have happened to you relationally, right? So that can be from your parents, your caregivers, siblings, and then in the context of a romantic relationship. It can be friendships. When we think about relationship trauma, a lot of people think that we're only talking about romance. No, but it's relationally. Trauma that you have with yourself, right? Some things are self-inflicted. Trauma from those who raised you, what that looked like. That's what relationship trauma is. Things that happen in the context of a relationship.
Now, who...
You gonna make me answer this
rough.
question.
I would love for you to answer the question, but it's not like we said. We're not doing the gender wars thing right now. This is more like, okay, in your experience, and you look at these couples, who is carrying more relationship trauma, the men or the women?
Or the women, men.
Men are carrying more.
Men are carrying more, and the reason why I would go the route of saying that men are carrying more trauma is because men are taught trauma in a different way and to suppress. You guys are taught to suppress from very young. Stop crying. What you crying for? Aren't you a big boy? Right? Like things like that. You supposed to be tough. You supposed to be hard. Whereas a little girl, you have daughters? Whereas like your daughter can fall and is like, oh my God, come here. What happened? Let me see. Right? So in some aspects, she's being taught that she gets to be nurtured. Men are being taught that we don't do that. You got to be tough. Whether it hurts, whether you're sad, you have to deal with that. You have to eat that. So men, I would say men carry trauma in different ways because it cannot be vocalized. And a lot of men think that the way to do that is through anger. When I say can't be, it's not normal for society.
Okay.
It's just not. It's not normal for a man to cry out loud. You know what I'm saying? It's not normal for a father to hug up and kiss up on his son. Well, it wasn't. It's starting to be normalized now. But that space just wasn't available. You know what I'm saying?
What was the effect of that on men? Like, when they show up now, what do you see in the way that they show up now in relationships? This is all gonna go somewhere else. So,
absolutely, extremely wounded. And I would say the biggest wound for men is that experience of just being like lonely, even in a room full of people, even with someone that you can agree has your heart. Like, can I really open up to you? Can I really be myself authentically without you thinking I'm a F-boy or I'm a bitch or like I can't hold my own or I can't lead? So I think men really suffer in silence more. Like in a room of conversation with men, y'all not sitting there talking about, I was traumatized when I was like 4. Like y'all talking about fast cars, y'all talking about getting a bag, y'all talking about providing. Whereas in a room with women, I can walk in and just be like, yo, I'm really going through a lot. Like I just need to be held right now by you, my sister. Men don't have those spaces without thinking that you guys are like homosexuals, and it's just so many negative connotations around a man being able to express himself. Now, when he's expressing himself through anger, which is usually like sadness, feelings of rejection, feeling of shame, it's like men are F-boys. Niggas ain't shit. It turns into all these things, or he just hot-headed. He got a temper. He don't know how to treat people. But really, in reality, he's never really had that outlet to be able to fully embrace every single emotion available, right? If somebody broke in here right now, Tahoe, I'm running behind you.
Don't run behind me.
I'm right, but this is what I'm waiting. I'm looking for you guys to protect us. I'm not expecting you to have fear.
If they run in here right now, I'm gonna think you set us up. You getting it?
But you get what I'm saying? Like you don't have that same space to run in fear like I do as a woman if something happened in this room right now. Because the 2 women in this room, we're looking for you to be the protection. But that doesn't mean that the fear is not there. That doesn't mean that you're not worried. That doesn't mean that you're not anxious about it. But you don't have a platform in this space to show that.
Okay, so we spoke about male relationship trauma. What does female relationship trauma look like?
Female relationship trauma. How many hours we got? To like really unpack this?
There we go.
Female relationship trauma, I think, is more so about women, one, for sure, not knowing how to set appropriate boundaries. That's a heavy one. Women not being able to, or not having a skill set to set appropriate boundaries. Women thinking that they have to take care of everything on their own. Women thinking that they have to be superwomen, so not asking for that help a lot of times, especially from male presence. Being seen, not heard, like you can't be loud, you can't be this, you can't dress too provocative. So, and then if you dress this way, it's just so many caps, I believe, is put on women because we are supposed to present in a certain way as well, right? So we carry a lot of the things that we see without being able to express it in a way that allows us to like soften the pain.
Y'all need to be softer?
Absolutely.
Child.
How many women out here is just running rampant with masculine energy?
I mean, I live in Brooklyn, so
yeah,
I live in New York.
We can count them by the dozens.
If we go away from New York, then is it the same?
I do believe it's the same, but I genuinely believe that culture dictates that. What kind of culture did you grow up in? Right? Like I know my daughters are not going to experience half the things that I experience because from this very early age, 6 and 15, I'm teaching them about how to powerfully use your voice to like shift the atmosphere that you're not comfortable in, how to speak up for yourself when something doesn't feel right, present in the ways that you want to be treated, you know?
If I may interject, I saw a post today, and the internet just full of just shit to get people to like it or comment, start an argument, right? And I see a post today that said, if your boyfriend and your dad were arguing and your boyfriend told you to go to the car and your father told you to sit down, what are you going to do?
I'm going to listen to my daddy, my
I
father.
said, my daughter not listening to either one of us. She's going to go get her some ice cream. She going to say, fuck out of here. And that's going to be that. We both going to be looking at her like, but you said you're listening to your father. Well, I mean, I don't
If
really
that's
wanna
my
get into
boyfriend,
this
if that's my
conversation.
husband, then we into a different arena.
Right. Husband, boyfriend.
Yeah.
But husband, you going to the car?
Yeah.
Did your husband tell you to leave the crib? All right. This conversation is beneath us. Let's
Right.
not, but why?
That's who I'm going home with.
Mm.
That's who I got to deal with. That's the head of my household, not my father anymore.
Except for when y'all break up, then your father still got to be the one.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to get
let's
into that
not.
conversation. All right. Well, the reason I asked these things was to get your perspective on, just the thing as a whole. But we do have an example on the table that I wanted to ask, and then I wanted to ask a question that pertains to it. The example is, of course, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. It's been a long 3-4 years. I don't know how many years it's been that we've been listening to this lady and talking about her marriage and watching Will cry and then watching him angry, almost basically ruin the vision that we had of him. I thought Will Smith was going to be president one day. I really did. Like, no bullshit. I thought Will Smith was going to be the next black president. He was America's sweetheart, right? It was like he was the one that you could not, there was no, right? And now he has this stain on him that won't go away from protecting his wife. What'd you say, Melly?
I said, not no more.
Not no more? You think so? You think it came off after today or after this week?
I think so.
Say Will is an abused husband. What do you think, Tron?
People ain't going to forget that Oscar slap, regardless of why and what he was going through. That stain ain't going away.
It's not going away.
Yeah.
Well, Jada has come out this week with more stuff. She's basically said that Will and her were separated since 2016. Have been separated since 2016. That is 7 years. There was another clip that came out basically saying that she felt her and Tupac were soulmates. Tupac was her soulmate. This is 2023, by the way. That man died
A minute ago.
24 years ago.
20-something years, yeah.
20-some years ago, that man died. She said he was a soulmate and that he asked her to marry her. And she knew that was just some jail shit and he was going to come back out and just leave her, so she didn't do it because of that. She did say that they were never intimate. She said they had no chemistry or whatever. And finally, she said that when Will slapped Chris Rock, she was shocked at the idea at him yelling, calling her his wife. She said she was shocked because he had not heard him call her his wife or didn't feel like they were together in so long. That, admission was shocking for her. Why do we need to know all this about Jada and Will? It's the first question that I have, but the realer question that I have here is I'd like to examine who do y'all think is the most traumatized person in that relationship?
Seems like Will. That's what it seems like. Because she seemed like, I don't know, kind of carefree in her being able to talk about it. And, I mean, you can't really point fingers because you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. But in public, it's a lot of talking on her side. And it's a lot of things that have put Will in a bad light. So,
what is the bad light that you see?
Bad light meaning like he's getting clowned, like, oh, you the soft rapper. She really loved Tupac, like, and just the I don't know, just Will has always fought that what's the word I'm looking for? I guess his identity of being like that soft
stigma
rapper. You know what I mean? And now he has like an alpha wife that's kind of like, with the masculine energy on top of all of this. And then she's talking about an affair or what she calls situationship or whatever the fuck.
Entanglement.
With another artist that we all know. that's a lot publicly for a man of his stature to deal with. So that's a lot of trauma for him to deal with. I don't know any public shit about Jada that Will just volunteered. Not that I could think of off top.
Right. He doesn't have a Will table talk to let it out. And he was actually still trying to be out there like that. He's actively working. I don't know how much she's actively working. I think she does her things, but Will was still trying to be president. He was still working on it. Siobhan, what do you think? From what you've seen, what you've heard over the last couple years, who do you think is carrying more trauma from this relationship?
I gotta pick one.
Speak as you speak.
I don't think that one of them is carrying more trauma than the other, in all honesty. I think they're both extremely traumatized, but the way that they're choosing to display or deal with that trauma is different. And the reason why I say that is, one, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? So Jada might be saying her things publicly. Will can be saying his things in private. It's clear that they are both traumatized, right? To be married and not be with your partner for what? She said 2016, about
7 years.
What's that? A good 7 years. I think it's equally distributed, in all honesty.
I probably would pick a side, me personally, but I do want to ask a different question. A couple of that stature, matter of fact, fuck it, a couple, fuck stature. They want to raise their children together. They want their children to see them as a couple or whatever, so they separate, but keep it in-house. And stay together after separation and kind of do their own things on their own. Do you think that's a recipe that works, or is it a recipe for disaster?
No, I definitely think that's a recipe for disaster, because you got to remember, you are the blueprint that your children are going to see. So staying together just because you want your children to have a home does not equate to them having a healthy home. Just because they see you together, they know what's going on. They on social media.
So why did they stay together?
It's more damaging. There's probably their own interior motives around why they're staying together. Shame. I know for me at one point, right? And I had to be honest about this today too, as I was creating a reel for Instagram. Like, I went through a lot in my marriage, right? And in the beginning, I was staying with my husband because of my fear of failure. So the motive was predicated on fear. What are people gonna think? What are my children gonna say? I'm a marriage coach. Why I can't use my own tools? It was more based on what the public eye was gonna say about me, as opposed to like, I really want to be in this marriage, right? And my husband called me out one day. He's like, I feel like you just here because you don't want to leave. And it made me think, I'm like, what you mean? I'm doing X, Y, Z and all these other things. And I really, when I stopped to process that thing, I was like, oh, I am here because I don't want to leave, because leaving is tied to failure for me. So I think people stay in relationships for different reasons, and it warrants two different levels of commitment, right? Because to stay somewhere where I don't want to be is a lot harder than staying where I authentically want to connect to this person, build with this person, reconnect with this person, move on our vision, be restored. That place is coming from, I know that we can do this, where the other place is coming from, I don't know what my life is going to be like without you. So I'm going to live in mediocrity, low vibrational, and stay here because it's comfortable. They're both hard. And my marriage didn't start to heal until I changed the focus. Like, no, I really fuck with you in real life. Like, outside of all this that's going on, you my best friend. Outside of all this that's going on, I know we can do it together. Outside of all this that's going on, you deal with your stuff, let me deal with my stuff. I know we can get healthy, right? Because now that encouraged me to do the work, as opposed to just letting time pass by. So you don't know, but I would encourage anyone to like check why you're staying. Is it tied in shame? Because you're only going to produce whatever soil you're standing in.
People often say that the dating pool now, I don't know what y'all doing, whether y'all want to stay together, whether you just want to go outside and mess with somebody else. I'm here to tell you straight up and down, dating sucks. I keep telling y'all every week, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
They never thought that.
You been dating?
I'm just saying they never thought that dating was like, oh, amazing. Everybody always say dating sucks.
It really isn't.
Yeah, but why? Why you think dating sucks? I want to hear some of that.
Me personally?
I feel like that's only recently I've been hearing that. I didn't hear this type of narrative.
You said
10 years
that
ago.
when you were dating all of these people before, you knew they wasn't.
Yeah, but dating was always fun. Like everybody, like
who?
being single was something like it wasn't something to look down upon. I don't know. Back when I was single, I never looked at it like.
Back when I was single, I'm not now.
I'm just talking about the narrative in general. Maybe I didn't pay attention to the narrative, but I think the pee in the dating pool narrative is recent, at least from my perspective.
Right, and I don't even subscribe to that. I don't believe there's pee in a dating pool. I think there's people in a dating pool that just don't. I'm not even gonna say they don't want to heal, but just really don't have the capacity for what healing takes. Like healing is not a freaking walk in the park. It's hard. It's gritty. Yeah.
I hated it. I don't know how you do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He be wanting to go back. He be like, oh, I want somebody else for this other thing. He loves it. Like he wants introspection. I do not. I be like, yo, you killing me, ma. I don't know you. You don't know me. But you need to stop talking about me like that, or making me talk about myself like that.
Right.
I just don't like this shit at all.
Because it's
not
uncomfortable,
no fun
right?
here.
That
It's
goes
not
back
no
to the
fun
question
here.
you asked me about.
I leave therapy
men.
drained. Like go sit in the car and go to sleep type shit.
Yeah,
Just be
that's
like,
how you know it's working. But why you think dating sucks? I really want to hear that.
I'm gonna get it. Let me go back real quick. Jada, I'm not sure if Will is more traumatized than her. I know that he has been going through his shit because of her admissions lately.
Yeah.
But whatever the fuck she going through has been there for a long fucking time.
That part.
And Will is being held as the prince. He's the good guy. So she might not have never wanted to break his heart or wanted to come out and look like the bad guy in the relationship. Being in love with somebody else while being with your husband and trying to force yourself to be with this guy and still having these feelings for the other guy. I mean, does that make her evil that she really was trying to make her family work even though she had stronger feelings for somebody else? I don't know. But I know that was some shit that she dealt with every fucking day. Every time he come down like summertime. She probably hate that fucking song. You know, it seems to me like she be going through some shit. The need to talk about all of this shit. You know, a lot of people tell me, oh, Malcolm had yelled at me last week for bringing up. I had some beefs that I was going through with my friends, and I did a whole episode about it, the 30 for 30 episode. And he was like, oh, you needed to talk about it on stage, da, 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 da. And I've been thinking about it, and I realized, I said it, I needed to get that shit off. And that shit was killing me keeping it in. I needed to at the time. Would I have made that the same decision now? No. It's not killing me now. I don't need to speak on this shit no more, you know what I mean? But carrying it every day, seeing all these things happening every day, other people don't know what you got going on inside your head, how it's affecting you, how heavy it is to carry every single fucking day. It's people that jump out the fucking window.
Yeah.
Over shit that nobody else knows. People think, oh, you show up every day, you get on your desk, you sit there, you type. I didn't know the motherfucker just jumped off the roof of the job.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't really know what the fuck. And so when I see her continuously needing to speak, needing to let out these things, and then expected to keep quiet for the other person, that's another thing.
That part,
when people are expecting you not to speak your truth because of how you're reflecting to somebody else, that's kind of fucked up. That's some shit, because you always thinking about that. If I do this, like you said, they're gonna think this. If I do this, they're gonna think this. I'm not sure. Because we don't know much from Will. He hasn't said much. The times that he did say some things, one, he was crying. Red Table Talk, I believe he cried in Red Table Talk. And the next time he was yelling. You know what I mean? and fighting.
He did have his book too.
Huh?
I said he also had a book.
He also had a book.
Tyler, let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
If you would have had a time where you could express your feelings, your 30 for 30, but it wasn't on camera or on the podcast, do you think that would have been as helpful?
I
Just
think that
in a room full of people, just to
think
talk,
that,
keep it closed.
at the time I valued the public's opinion more than I probably should have. Right? I think at that time I was still fighting for identity of some sort, and I wanted them to believe me. I wanted them to understand me.
Yes.
Whereas that's not going to be guaranteed. You know, that people going to think what they're going to think.
Yeah.
And it's really not. It wasn't in my best interest to think that I could change public. You know what I mean? I should have just worked on doing me and whatever it was. But I think now, yeah, inner work is way more important than getting other people to, you know what I'm saying? And then your dependency on their approval.
Yeah.
That's one of your traumas. Your dependency for your spouse's approval or for, you know, whatever. Like, why couldn't I just, you know? So, yeah, those are things that maybe trauma. You're right. They were things that I could have probably just spoke to with a therapist or whatever. But like I said, going to a therapist is very hard. It is extremely, Mel, you want to say something? It is extreme in mid-sentence. It's like, I was in a good groove.
I'm sorry.
But it's extremely difficult, and you gotta be ready to break some shit down, and then realize that at an hour they're gonna stop, and you're gonna have to do your homework, whatever they give you, until next week, and try to get it again next week or your next session. And that was hard for me, because you got me breaking all this shit down, and you get to 59 minutes, you're like, all right, that was great. And I'm sitting there sweating and bleeding, and you're like, all right, I'll talk to you next week. And you're like, what? You're gonna leave me
What am I
here?
gonna do till then?
Right now? Melly, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I feel like it was important for you to do what you did, even though it probably was not the right, way to do it. But the fact that you did that, it made you realize that you need to work within yourself. So I feel like it was a lesson learned. I feel like if you didn't do it, you probably would have not, learned
I needed
that.
to at that time.
Yeah. So I feel like it was important. Like, even though people say that, oh, you should have kept it in house, or you should have never said it out in public like that. But the fact that you did, I feel like it was important for you to do that.
And thank you for being honest about that, because people do care about public opinion. Like, that's the thing. You just happen to have a platform, just like Jada has a platform. So a lot of people that's like, yo, why would you put your shit out there? They don't have a platform to put their shit out there. But they may not realize how gratifying or how, how therapeutic it may be to put your shit out there.
Right.
You
I
know?
think an important part of that that's being missed too is just like the level of vulnerability that it even takes for Jada to put out there what's being put out there. No matter what the reason is that she's putting it out there, right? And you said something so important. What was it? In terms of like doing it in public. I think that she may be at a place where she just like wants her voice to be heard. Sometimes it's just like, I'm done being quiet. I'm telling.
Exactly.
Now I'm telling, because everybody think that you this Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No, you're not. And I want people to know, right? Like, I want to feel protected too. I want to feel like somebody understand my side too. I want to speak up about the things now.
That's what it was.
So I feel like we really have to understand like the intentionality and the motives behind why we just do some of the things that we're doing, even though a lot of them are trauma based. But like Melly said, it shows you something about you. And I think she's just at this place where she's like, yeah, I'm through being quiet. Is silence a virtue? In some things, yes. But look how many of us are really now unpacking trauma because we heard what happens in this house, stay in this house. Something happened to you, don't tell nobody. And just like all these other things that don't make any sense that have us struggling to even communicate in relationships now. So she probably like, yeah, no, this is my time. Now I'm really gonna talk about all the things. Now y'all gonna know. And as you said, looking for that public approval, just wanting somebody to back her as well.
Just get this shit off.
Yeah.
Just let me get this shit off. Because I'm carrying it around all the time. I got a bad name and every fucking people. Entanglement.
And she got a bad name.
Entanglement, tell everybody thinking about me and this and that. Well, guess what? I was fucking with this kid or whatever because I was living in a house with this guy that I'm married to, but we're not together. We're not together. Yes, it was a bad situation, but me and my husband are not together.
So let me ask y'all this though: if you're talking, you're getting everything out, it's therapeutic. What about the other people that are involved in this story. Like when people write those tell-all books, it's like, it's cool that you want to be transparent with your life, but now you're exposing things that may have been private to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we not owe the other people that are involved in this any type of consideration?
But I think that's a big part of the problem right there. Like, no, I don't owe you any consideration because it was my life too,
It's
and
my
I'm
life.
telling it
It's my
from my
story.
experience. It
Yes.
has nothing to do with you. So, however you're gonna feel about whatever I'm willing to tell, right in my book or go on my social media, you have to deal with that. I'm telling a story from my perspective. This is what happened to me. This is what I was involved in. This is what happened in the marriage according to Jada. Will is gonna tell his piece according to Will. So no, I'm not gonna take how you feel or what you think or all those other things into consideration because that's not what we're talking about. That's not the topic at hand. You know what I mean?
And it's also like, yo, if you cared about me, once we stop doing the work together, you're leaving me with that emotional baggage. Now I have to work on myself. It's not my responsibility to worry about you no more. Like, you left me with all of this baggage. Regardless of whether we stopped talking, regardless of whether you ghosted me, whatever it is, I'm carrying this myself.
That
At this point, I need to figure out how to deal with it. And people are going to use whatever tools they fucking have. I'm not sure. I don't like Jada Pinkett she was the fucking princess, like, growing up. Different world, set it off. She was like, she couldn't be beat. She was amazing. She's a human being.
right.
And this happened to her. Whatever happened, or whether it's her relationship, Tupac, whatever the fuck, this is all shit that she's been carrying around for years. Am can I say I don't like what I'm seeing? Yeah. But who the fuck am I to judge her not knowing what the fuck she going through over there? Or will. I don't know, bro, but I have not read his fucking book, so
Right.
all I'm getting is from this thing here. Now we're going into the dating thing, right?
Hold on, I wanted to add something to that real
Yes.
quick too. People want to see the nitty gritty of marriage. That's a part of it.
Which part? What do you say that?
Jada speaking up, Will, them putting things on display, right? Because we're so used to seeing highlighted reels of what a good marriage looks like. This also can be a part of like what their healing journey is, right? Everybody want to see the glitz and glamour. No, marriage gets ugly. It gets nasty. Like, the journey is full of thorns, twists and turns, ups and downs. It's not just happy all the time. So when they were putting their relationship on the front line and they were cute and they were having children and they were holding hands and they were loving and they were getting a bag together, we wanted to see that. So why is it that we become uncomfortable with seeing the parts that's just, this is what it is. This is our everyday. This is what it has been like for us for the last 7 years. People need to know that part of marriage as well.
When we look at Will and the anger and the desire to go storm the stage and slap a man for making uncomfortable jokes about his wife or estranged wife, what do you think he's going through at a time like that, knowing that they have not been together for 5 years at the time?
Maybe in his mind, this is actually a chance for me to protect her because I haven't been doing that.
Or I'll offer a different angle. Maybe in this mind, maybe in this mind, yeah, we're not together, but public perception, we are together.
That
so
too.
if I'm, upholding the image of you being my wife, don't play with who I'm showing you as my wife. Like, you know what I mean? It don't matter what we're going through if we separate or not.
The entanglement was already there at the time, so you already knew that she was
That's
off doing other
still,
things.
I was still his wife, quote unquote, at
That's
the
still
moment,
his wife
according
right
to
now.
public perception, right?
Yeah,
so
they're
he's
not
like, yo,
divorced.
don't play with my wife. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. It don't matter whether I love her, whether I like her, whether we together, whether we sleep in a bed. Don't play with mine.
Yeah, that's still my namesake at the end of the day. And you're right. It could have been that. And even in that, the weight of still having to perform in the public eye like we're together. That's
Right.
a weight in itself.
Yeah.
That'll make anybody lash out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just don't know all of what they're going through, and we can spectate, we can come up with things as to why they did what they did, but even in that, the weight of having to act like we're together and we're not, that's a lot.
I want to move on We've been having, it's a pretty good combo, right? We're enjoying it. I'm pretty sure somebody's on their way to work, just like nodding their head or at their desk, wanting to hear more gems from Siobhan Davis. Matter of fact, what is your Instagram?
I am Shivonne Davis.
SHIVONNEDAVIS. I am Siobhan Davis.
Yes.
A lot of things have been going on in the internet. I've been watching and just shaking my damn head. Just SMDH, right? Saw a girl go on a date. Just 2 different date things that we'll talk about very quickly. And Trom said he had some questions too for you, so we'll do some of that in the first episode. But saw a girl order 4 plates of oysters. 48 of them motherfuckers. Slurped them down.
I feel like that shit was
48
fake.
times.
That had to have been fake.
Then she ordered potatoes and all types of other shit.
Man, she was.
She's busting them shits down. She's recording it, stacking the goddamn plates. 1 oyster, 2 oyster, 3 oyster, 4 oyster plates. Just stacking them shits on top of each other.
Wow.
The motherfucker ran out on the bill. That nigga said, I'm going to the bathroom, and never came back. And I applaud his ass so much.
Wait, what?
Now, the fucking oysters was only $6 a piece. Right? But first date, you don't think that there's some fucking decorum you need to be having? Bitch,
Yeah, it's
are you
flavor.
horny? Like, what do you need? Like, what is happening?
Oysters are a delicacy. You're not supposed to order them to fill up. You don't order 4 of them because you're hungry. Like, get a fucking entree. Order 1 order of your starter.
The nigga asked out for drinks.
Did not. A buffet of
It wasn't
oysters.
even dinner. It
She
wasn't
ate
even,
for the week.
wasn't even
Siobhan, do you think that the dating is like the dating, when you say the dating pool sucks, do you think that that's an appropriate way to date? Just go out and do whatever the fuck?
Some people suck.
Huh?
That's what I was about to say. Some people suck. Some people that show up dating suck. But do I think that was appropriate for a first date? Is that what you're asking
Yes,
me?
do you think that's appropriate for first date?
4
4 plates of oysters.
and more.
I mean, I don't see why not. Like, if you taking me on a date, you should be able to handle the bill.
It's $6. It wasn't about the bill. The bill,
Right.
the oysters was only.
So
came
what
out
was
to
it about for
$24.
him? That she had
Just
4
being
plates
a
of
glutton, like just be you fucking sick bitch. Excuse me.
What if she was? This is my authentic self. This what you gonna get? I'm gonna pull up and I'm gonna eat 4 or 5 plates of
There's no
oysters.
such thing as manners. You don't think that's bad manners?
What was
Authentic self.
Tell me what was wrong with the what manners do you think wasn't present here?
It's about etiquette. So
There we go.
my authentic self, I could eat a lot. I'm a hungry nigga, right? If I go somewhere and I know that somebody else is footing the bill, or if I know that we're splitting it equally, I'm not going to order the most expensive thing on the bill and then be like, oh yeah, let's cut it down. Let's
Down
split
the
it
middle?
evenly. Like, I'm going to be like, all right, I might not order what I would normally want to order if it's just me and my lady, because I'm not going to wild out. I'm going to be considerate to other people. And it's just certain etiquette. Whether you're on a date or not, there's other human beings involved here that are paying for this. You can't be your authentic self to that extent. Like, that's wild. You do that on your own tab. Otherwise, you got to show some etiquette and consideration.
Yeah, I could see that side of it.
Malcolm said that the oyster plates were $15, not $6. I think that's what he's saying. $15 plates. All right, so the oysters came out to $60. Okay, fine. My thing is, you're recording it. You're actually, when she's talking about it, she's like, yo, I curved this guy for months. I was hungry.
Oh, yeah,
I wound
nah.
up just going out.
See, you ain't
with
give me
him.
that part of the context.
Yeah.
Now that's a different
probably
conversation.
peeped all that.
Because then she did just go there intentionally to
Yeah.
use him and see
she's
what she
wild.
can get. Yeah.
And
That is wild.
she's doing
and
the
I would have
most.
left the damn bill there as well.
Trump, what would you have done?
Yeah, he no dummy. He
You'd have
like,
paid
yo,
for it.
you been curving me now. You want a free meal and you wilding? Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I might have dipped too. I might.
It ain't no might. I definitely would have.
You
Yeah,
really did?
Yeah.
I tried to dip on the chick before.
I would have done a
She
spin
caught me.
move.
She caught you
Yeah, she caught
running
me.
out the door.
Yeah, she called me. I think she seen me leaving, and like she called my phone, and I don't know what I did, but I answered the phone. I don't know why I answered the fucking phone.
Dummy.
I don't know why I did it, but I think I'm just too nice of a guy. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm outside in the car.
I want to get some air real quick.
Yeah.
So, Ty, we've done this before. I would have did one of these moves, like maybe text you under the table, be like, yo, call me with an emergency. And I'm like, word? Right now? All right, bet. And then just dart out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
gotta
just
go.
And when
act
she
like,
start running behind you,
Yeah, I'd be like, wait, you got to pay for this?
just dip out the fucking joint. So yeah, to me, dating. I think social media is affecting the dating pool like crazy. Like the women are saying, you know what? They're not going to Applebee's. They're not going to fucking Olive Garden, right? There's a chick here.
Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory. You saw the Cheesecake Factory one.
What
Did you see
happened?
the Cheesecake Factory one?
Oh, that was good.
Let's see if I have the video. I think I have the video here somewhere. I think I have the video here somewhere. But it's ridiculous with these fucking chicks. And I'm not sure. Let me see.
They just be acting like just because they not paying for it, it's all you can eat.
Let me just get the door for you.
Okay.
He says, get the door for me.
He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car.
She locked the door.
She locked the door.
Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you?
Okay.
Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh, yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on, get it going in the car. Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
This was the first video. This was the first video. It gets better though.
Yeah,
Did you see the whole
I
thing?
did see the whole thing. I loved it.
You haven't seen the whole thing.
I have not.
Are you
That is
appalled?
absolutely ridiculous.
Are you appalled?
I am. I
You're
really am.
disgusted. Why are you disgusted?
Why? Because what type of investment are you looking for? And why aren't you being upfront about that? What's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory?
Oh, it gets
What's
better.
your expectation, though?
A chain.
For somebody that just met you, all of this, all of what? So you're going off of a physical appearance?
I'm gonna tell you straight up and down. There are some chicks that I want to take to expensive restaurants because they look that good. I do. There are some chicks that I do want to take to expensive restaurants because they look that good. There are some chicks that I'm not taking to expensive restaurants because they don't look that good. Is that bad? Especially on first date. Maybe if I fall for you, you become my chick like that. All right, cool. We out. We going wherever we want to go. But on first datings and stuff like that, I'm looking at you wearing wedges. I'm not.
Sign these wedges.
I'm not walking through Maestros with a chick clunk, clunk, clunk. No, we're not doing that. It's not even baddies in here. We're gonna go to fucking Cheesecake Factory. And they got great food there.
What is wrong with y'all with these wedges? Like, seriously.
They're heavy and they make a lot of noise walking behind me. It's like
Same thing as
a war.
heels.
Mr. Ed,
Heels make
no.
noise. Go click, click, click.
No, clunk, clunk. Go ahead. No, what do you say?
Heels look different though.
Heels, there's a certain sexiness.
Yes,
a
exactly.
certain investment that she's giving.
Yes.
And personally,
Is that discussed up front?
no, I think, but I do think so. I was talking to somebody and they were like, oh, these women that just want to go to expensive restaurants, they basically prostitutes. And I was like, I think they want to be rated. I think they want the person who they're dating to rate them as a expensive restaurant type of chick. They want to be, and so they will go, that same chick will go to McDonald's. But you're going to take me to Maestros or you're going to take me to these things because that's what I view of myself. Or at least I want to make sure that you view me as that. Am I wrong? What do you
But then
think?
I'm thriving on your opinion. I mean, I feel like we're grown. If that's your expectation, say it. I'm not here to play this cat and mouse game, whether it's Cheesecake Factory, P-Chang's, whoever. Like, say what it is that you want. You're waiting for him to rate you based on a restaurant he's taking you to?
a certain treatment.
I kind of got a problem with that in itself.
I don't think you do.
Why not?
Because I think all women want a certain type of treatment. Some of it isn't just financial. It's a certain type of where you're going to hold me and the way that you handle me when you're dating me. It shows me what our experience is going to be like.
But that doesn't come from him. That comes from how she holds herself.
Right, but she can't tell him, like, hey, by the way, I'm an expensive restaurant type of gal. You need to take me to a 5-star restaurant. Like, I would assume that she would want him to make that assessment of her.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Based on the standard of woman that she's presenting as.
Exactly.
But that's not predicated on how he's seeing me.
So
you get what I'm saying in that?
So, right. So in the clip, the young lady is basically saying the way that I'm presenting myself, what makes him think, what gives him the audacity that I'm a Cheesecake Factory type of chick. I mean, physically,
yeah, a lot
that's
of women,
all we could see and tell in the clip.
Just about the physical now. Like, what standard are... People are only going to treat me how I esteem myself. Mm-hmm. So if he bought me to Cheesecake Factory, I want to know, did I give off Cheesecake Factory energy? Let's start right there.
She's trying. That's what she's asking.
That's what she's
right,
saying.
so, but that's what she should be asking herself, not him.
Well, the story gets deeper.
Well, let me see the rest. Stop giving me these little parts and setting me up.
Yeah. Because I like the fact that you said that, because he did have a...
Look.
This is going to be funny.
He did have an interesting retort.
Let me hear this
I
part.
can tell it's not gonna be there.
It's not been a what?
There's more to it. Hold on. I think there's more to that. No, wait. There's more to this. Hold on.
She looks like a cheesecake.
Give me a second.
Right, am I giving Cheesecake Factory?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well, look at my planner where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went.
He said,
Right there.
hold on.
Wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
So basically, oh, God damn it. Come on, Tahoe.
Yes, there's a...
So basically, he just got in the car, and they're talking about what's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory. And he says, look at my planner. Look where we were going to go originally. That's what you missed. Let's go back.
A lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well, look at my planner where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs
I understand,
for an hour, right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late.
What's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory?
Excuses.
See?
Trump said excuses. But wait, no, because I'm sorry.
I want to see all.
You got to see the whole thing.
Yeah, there's more.
You got to see the whole thing. It's so good. And then I also think, before I go into the rest, I think she rated him. Because she wouldn't have treated a Diddy this way. She wouldn't have treated another nigga that she know got it that way. And she's like, oh, like the chick with the 4 oysters.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to treat this nigga anyhow. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that nigga stood on his shit. You see when that nigga said no?
Yep.
This nigga is, with all due respect, he's not African-American presenting. I don't know what he is. I don't think he's African-American, right?
Right.
He's like,
No, yeah.
Yemen or Palestinian. Something. He's
Indian,
something, right? He stood on his shit. Hold on.
I feel like to her, he comes across as a pushover.
Yeah.
Like, I'm running up this tab. We going somewhere nice. You make money. You work in IT. And I'm running it up. I know that's crazy.
That was racist.
He looked like
We got that information.
He looked like
I mean, you know.
he
Because he couldn't be
like
a fucking practice coach or something for the Knicks.
I mean, what? He looks like my chiropractor. He could have been a
My chiropractor.
I'm
All
not.
right.
What?
All right. But yeah, I think she rated him. And I think that people do that on both sides. Like I said, I'll take a bad chick to a certain restaurant because I rate her. That's what I believe. Others, I'll be like,
Cheesecake Factory.
She giving Cheesecake Factory energy.
Others, I'll be like, yo, pull up. Just come to the crib. You know what I'm saying? We're not going nowhere.
Super facts.
We're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. With all
Netflix
due
and
respect,
chill?
I just
And then
want
there's
some box.
somewhere, and then there's
Not going
somewhere,
anywhere.
pull up to the crib, but don't come till after 3 a.m. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
When the block is dark.
What do you call?
My neighbors are not sitting outside.
We're going to jail.
There's different levels.
We're going to jail.
I'm just saying.
Flip that.
Yeah, clip that right now.
There's different tiers and levels to dating. I'm just
That I
agreeing with you.
do agree
Tahoe.
with. There
You
are different
agree.
tiers and levels to dating
For women as well?
for women and men.
What are some of the tiers for women?
I think it's solely based on one, and I live by this. Don't expect people to give you what you aren't giving yourself, right? Because it shows. You're the one choosing these people. How are you choosing them, right? So if I'm not doing these things for me, I shouldn't expect that from anybody else, right? So in terms of like tiers and also how are we dating? Like, what is the intentionality behind this dating, right? Is this somebody I'm just trying to kick it with? Get up, go to Cheesecake Factory, get a couple of drinks and some of them cauliflower bites for the vegans, right? Am I just trying to kick it with you? Am I trying to get to know you? But I think to have whatever your expectations are through conversing with that person, right? I think it'll be known based on the level of conversation that you're having, based on the things that you're talking about, right? You're not talking to a high quality woman about what time she pulling up to the crib. Why? Because she's giving off high quality woman vibes and vice versa. So I think that is what kind of determines like the tier. What is it that I'm doing? What are we doing? What am I looking for? Is this somebody, and you said it earlier, right? I'm just dating to have fun. I'm not really trying to build something with anybody. So I think all of those things play a part.
I ain't gonna hold you. I don't have a problem. I just think that, all right, if a chick is dating to get food or whatever and she could get it, I don't really have a problem with that. But you saying, like, people are saying that it's transactional. She's saying, listen, I will give you access to me. If you give me access, you're saying that, if she doesn't have the means to go to Maestro's on her own, to go to Ocean Prime on her own. She says, I look this good. I want to date a nigga that can get me and pay for Ocean Prime. That's the life that I want to live based off this. If he's going to buy that, if he's willing to accept that transaction, then that's what I'm holding out for.
Right, then that's on him to accept that. But
and if he accept that, then that's what he accepts.
Right.
She's like, I'm holding out for a nigga that's going to take me to Ocean Prime. Can't we be mad at her for that?
No,
I'm not mad at her. I just do not subscribe to, like, take yourself there.
She can't. She doesn't have no money.
Right. So why you expect somebody else to come and give you a free?
And he wants the pussy. The pussy. Oh, the pussy's crazy. The pussy. He wants the pussy. So look, this is what I want from my pussy. This is where I value it at. I can't afford the $375.
Then expect
for the meal.
Then expect the rest of your relationship to be transactional in that way.
And he will also be able to afford other chicks, and you're gonna have to deal with that. And a lot of chicks do deal with a nigga that got a lot of money, but can afford 10 of them. And does afford 10 of them. And she stays because she's the one that lives there or gets certain luxuries. You know what I'm saying? But she also knows that that nigga had enough money to buy her and 10 other hers. And that's what it is. Let's go back to this clip. I did say pussy, but you know what? I'm hungry. It came out that way.
Hungry for pussy?
Jesus. They're gonna be like, look, Tahoe's rude.
They're gonna hold you to that one.
Yeah, we lost Tahoe a long time ago. That's what they're gonna say. It's fine. It's fine. So let's go. There's more.
Not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm up.
So, you just want to call it a night?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
I'm sorry, y'all. But
Out the parking space.
if I don't feel
Can you
respected,
see?
I
I
am
mean-
not gonna go through
I mean,
the rest
come
of the
on.
day.
Well,
Trauma's like,
I mean, you were
Yeah.
you really need
So
it.
proud of him.
Proud of him, right?
hold on,
You
there's
know
more.
this place anyway, right?
I mean, I understand that I was late. I understand that. I understand that I could have been a bit more cooperative. You made some good points. That's why I'm willing to compromise. Are you sure you want to go home?
I I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already set them, and you've broken every one.
Oh
So
my God.
I'm sorry. We're dropping you off home.
My son! That's my son!
I'm proud of her.
That's my son!
Yes.
She was like, "Are you sure you want to go home?"
I'm absolutely sure.
What he should have said was, "You're going home."
I'm still going to the original restaurant.
I'm playing.
Who knows where I'm going?
My son said, I don't have a lot of rules or expectations, but the ones that I set, you've broken every one of them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Love it.
Oh, that's game
And he
time.
said it so calmly.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, man.
That's you. But you never did that, did you? You've never done. Have you ever stood up for yourself in this way?
I never had to. That was wild the way she was trying to treat
Yeah, she
him.
did. Him dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bossed up on that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And she wanted. Now she would give him some pussy. I seen her lean in. I think she was gonna try to grab his dick. I think so. If you look, there's a point where she looked the camera still on. She
Like,
kind of
you
leaned
sure?
in. Like,
Leaned on the side.
yeah, she's like, yo, here, you want a little, you know what I mean?
sure
Listen,
you wanna lean?
I'll fuck. I'm sorry. I'll fuck. I'm hungry. I'm still hungry.
We could do
Can we just go
cheesecake.
back
We could do
inside?
cheesecake.
Yeah.
He would have dubbed her. He'd have been like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm good off you.
Oh, he's bossing up off that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he getting her like this now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Just like talking nasty to her. Am I the only one that I like Cheesecake Factory?
Me too.
I might want to go there tonight.
Hello?
I've been hearing Cheesecake Factory all week. I bet you they been getting up. I bet you they fucking clientele went up crazy. I bet you they got a line for like 2
They
hours.
just got a
tonight.
spike. They
It's
always
Friday
got a
night.
line for 2 hours.
I want
Yeah.
some of that fucking food. I'm hungry as shit. We in this shit at 8:00. I might try to see if go over there.
But to your point, Cheesecake Factory for certain dates. And she probably felt like, she had her cleavage out. She was like, I'm not dressed. I didn't present myself as a Cheesecake Factory type of chick for you.
But she did. The fact that you had that man waiting for an hour,
Right, that's
it says
crazy.
a lot about who you are. I don't give a damn about your dress. Well, I don't know for men how you guys would have felt, but to have somebody waiting an hour for you, first date is what it looked like. I'm assuming that was their first date. That's crazy to me.
She thought that he was a pushover, and she thought that
Right.
she was the catch of the
And
day.
he treated her like
yeah.
the standard that she set for herself.
Yep.
Back to my point.
Yep.
You out of integrity and you out of line.
I'm gonna just go out with
Yeah.
Ahmed or whatever. I'm gonna go out
What's his name? From the IT department.
I'm sorry. Come on. I'm sorry. I didn't disrespect, but I'm just, fuck it. Ain't nothing to do. I ain't wear this dress yet, or nobody's seen me in it. That was probably a second wear. She wore it one time, but she didn't take no pictures. So she gonna wear it with him. And I thought she looked alright. She was cute. I thought she was cute. But your attitude makes you ugly.
Yeah, her
Absolutely.
attitude
Can't
was
be a bad
nasty.
bitch and be bad vibes.
Yeah.
It really cancels
Recording
each other
and
out.
stuff. Like, yeah, let's record
A
this.
lot of people like, oh, she don't look. I thought she was cute. She was decent. You know what I mean? She out of beat. But not with that attitude. Really, and I am so proud of him, bro.
Yeah, he bodied his response. Yeah,
She took that home.
his emotional IQ is up there. It's
Yeah.
given.
Yeah.
And the fact
That's
that
a standard that
she
he
still
set.
posted it. That's like,
She posted it, right?
yeah, I'm
that's
saying
from
the
her
fact
home.
that she still posted
Because
it.
she thought that she was wrong. She thought that he was wrong.
Yeah, she thought he was
yeah.
wrong. Clearly.
Y'all believe this,
crazy.
ladies? He's going to take me home? Like,
He's
yeah.
gonna take me to Cheesecake Factory. Then it was like, oh, he's gonna take me home.
He's better than me. She'd have been taking an Uber.
That shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
I saw that in the
Yup.
I saw that in the
I would've let
comments.
her-
Mad people was like, yo.
Take her home.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm completely good off you.
So wait,
Yeah.
that's a thing that men can do? Not even make sure that you get back
Nah, I
home
would have
safely?
dropped her home. I would have did that.
I thought the safety protect black women thing. No, make sure
You
at
could
least get
track
home
a Uber.
safely.
You could track a Lyft.
Shit, that's crazy.
She was wild
Send her
disrespectful.
off with another Arabian dude.
Bruh.
Yeah. That was crazy. I didn't see that one.
Like, come get it. Trump.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was rough. You said that you had some relationship trauma. Now I asked, I knew you were coming on the show, Siobhan. I was like, yo, let's come up with, some scenarios or some questions, just to, people out there be going through a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, ask the team. I want to know what Trump came up
So
with,
I had a good question that you kind of answered already,
which is what?
but I was laughing as I was typing in my phone.
Oh,
like,
shit.
do you ever tell people to throw in a towel? But you kind of answered that.
Yeah, she said no.
Right, that was a good one though. What are some common denominators in successful relationships that you've noticed?
Ooh.
Common denominators in successful relationships that I notice. One, honesty. And I would say honesty with yourself first. How you feel about certain things, being able to speak up about that. Vulnerability, being on the table, right? Creating a safe space. And I usually teach couples about teaching a safe space within yourself first before you try to put a safe space on the table with your spouse, right? So what that looks like is I'm trusting that I'm going to be vulnerable in this moment because I need to be, not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with my spouse's response. So I see that as a common denominator. How quick you repair after conflict, believe it or not, right? Because I do believe that social media has made us think that communication is the most intricate part of a successful relationship. It's a cornerstone, but I don't believe that it's the most important part. We can communicate all day, but how do we repair after we're hurt, right? After you said something that I didn't like, after I did something that you didn't like, after I told you about your mama, after you told me about our kids. What does our repair look like in that space? Are we healthy enough to be able to talk about it in a way that's respectful for both parties? Emotional connection. I do believe that that is a common denominator in successful relationships, right? I feel like our culture don't know how to not be happy without disconnecting, right? So we... Explain that part? You want me to go over that part a little bit?
Yeah.
So we don't know how to endure a season of hardship without disconnecting from the relationship, without disconnecting from the partnership that we have already built, without disconnecting from the friendship that we should already be standing on, right? Because we're going through so much, again, a lot of things that's not spoken, unspoken expectations, unspoken hurts that's still lingering, right? So we begin to pull away from the relationship as opposed to start to dissolve the things that got in between us. This is like a perfect picture of it, right? Like we're sitting here. All of this is between us. I have to move through the barriers of these things to get back to you. And I think people let this accumulate and it causes not an abrupt, but it causes the relationship to dissolve over time because we're not talking about this, right? Y'all seen in console. We don't talk about Bruno. Nobody want to talk about the Brunos in a relationship. So that is a common denominator, being able to say like, I really don't want to rock with you, but let me push through the why of why I don't want to connect with you right now, right? Like, what is it in me about me, right? For me, I shut down a lot. I don't want to talk about nothing. I just want to deal with it. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to talk to my therapist. We're going to hash it out. And then I think that it should be over. However, it creates relationship trauma, right? Because you're treating your spouse, your significant other as an outsider to what's really going on, even though it's between the two of you. So being able to do that and having fun, like laugh, joke, let your hair down. Everything don't have to be so serious all the time. I would say that those are some of the main pillars of a successful relationship.
Those are good.
Knowing like I really rock with you on any given day. I don't give a damn what we going through in this house. Like I know I got your back and you got mine. But I trust that. Not necessarily because of all the things that you have shown me, but because I trust my instinct enough, right? I trust the love that we've created enough to know that we still rock with each other even when we really don't.
You know, I thought that for a second, I thought it might have been a bad question because I was afraid of a generic answer like communication, honesty. Like,
she killed it.
But you killed it. You didn't give the generic. You actually explained why you didn't give the generic communication. That was really dope.
I do want to know this. I am just learning how to communicate. Not a good communicator at all. I will, like you heard me. How many times I said bitch today? But I find myself trying to do this more so than not now, and I want to know if it's a bad thing or if it's a good thing. Agree to disagree. Is that a thing that works in relationships? And you know, is there too much? Can you do it too much? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Great question.
That is an excellent question. I don't believe in agreeing to disagree. Like, what are we agreeing about? That we see things differently? What I don't agree to, we're agreeing to disagree, to me is oxymoronic, right? Like, we can agree that we both have different viewpoints. We can.
So that's agreeing to disagree.
But what's the agreement? Agreeing about what? I never understood when people said that. Right. Well, let's just agree to disagree. No, like, let's just sweep that under the rug, really, is what you're saying. What? I don't understand the basis of what are we standing on in that?
Go ahead, Trump.
To clarify, or what I think, the opposite of agreeing to disagree is when there's somebody at fault. So a lot of times we look for somebody to blame. And I've gone through this before in my relationships, and I'd be like, yo, we're just different. Let's agree to disagree. Like, you would have did it this way, I would have done it that way. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. Like, why do we have to find a right or wrong here?
Right.
Let's agree to disagree. So is that not the correct usage of agree to disagree?
No, but you just said it. Nobody's at fault. We look for a scapegoat because we don't want to deal with the emotions that's coming up. So I have to make you wrong in order to make myself right. That's not the right way to go about handling conflict or disagreements, right? There isn't anybody to blame. So most times.
So like at the end of a conflict, it doesn't have to end with, okay, I get it. You were right. I see I you know what? I admit my fault. Like, it doesn't have to end that way. That's what I think of when I think of agree to disagree. It doesn't have to end that way. It could just we could just end it like, all right, that's how you think about it. That's how I think about it.
Yeah,
let's
but
move
that
on.
Doesn't fucking work.
Or we can just agree that you just taught me. You just gave me light to a new perspective that I didn't have light to before.
Because whatever triggered me for us to have this conversation is going to come up again.
Because it's your trigger.
Whatever it is, it's boom, right? Say something happened. You did something I didn't like. My reaction or whatever it was something that you didn't like. And now we're pointing fingers. We're Spider-Man at each other. It was you. No, it was you. Spider-Man. This is what happened. No, this is what happened. You know what I mean? You right? You say, you know what? Fine. No big deal. Nope. Whatever. Let's just agree to disagree. It is what it is. 3 days from now, you're going to do something, and I'm be like, and that's exactly why I got mad at you the other fucking day. You know what I'm saying? And you're back at it like, no, it was you. Because this shit is never going nowhere.
That's because you're not ending conversations with resolve. That goes back to what I said earlier, right? Being able to repair. I don't need to agree with your experience. Like, we're both right. And I don't think that couples take the time to understand that we are both right. Right? It's 4 of us in this room. We're all going to leave and say that we experienced this space different. It's going to mean something different to all of us. It doesn't mean that any one of us are right about anything except for what's absolute. Right? What's absolute right here, I'm wearing a cap. You're wearing a bucket hat. He has a hat on backwards. Everything else in between, none of that matters. That's left to interpretation. So I don't need to come into agreement that I'm in disagreement with you. We already disagree. So what are we talking about? It's coming back up because there was no resolve around it. Hey, I really didn't like how you spoke to me, and I understand that I should not have reacted that way to you.
I hate fake resolves though.
But that's the thing. Is that a fake resolve? I don't like what you said to me. I don't like what you did. I don't like the fact that you brought home something to eat and you didn't bring me home something. And I reacted by just cursing or stomping around the house or ignoring you or shutting you out for the rest of the night. I acknowledge that you brought yourself home something to eat and I felt left out. In me feeling left out, that triggered something in me. I don't like feeling that way. You're not the reason why I lashed out, right? Because your spouse is not the reason why you respond to something in the way that you do. Spouse, partner, right? I'm saying spouse because I deal with marriages a lot. But they're not the reason. So I think there gets to be an acknowledgement. You did this. I did that. I was wrong for how I responded to it. You don't need to wait for the other person to apologize to you for what they did, for not bringing you the food. I just need to own how I showed up in the experience. But we're looking to hold everybody accountable.
Somebody needs to be.
No, hold yourself accountable.
I hate that though.
Yeah, but Tahoe, this is the thing. Everywhere you go, you are. You're going to be there. That trigger is yours because it's something in you that you haven't healed. So you have to
might not respond the way I did.
Exactly.
So it's me.
Somebody would have been like, "You ain't bring me no food. Give me a goddamn bite. Go get a knife, because we sharing this." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be their. That wouldn't be their trigger. You know what I'm saying in that? So I think when we go into confrontation, conflict, disagreements, whatever it is, just own your part of the breakdown, because you contributed in some way. You did.
Trom, you have another one? Let's get away from this shit.
Yeah.
Making me feel therapy. I'm starting to cry.
It's starting to feel heavy.
You sound like you're in therapy right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to answer it that way.
So
No, I think you did
this
good.
isn't anything I have written down, but just going off of the conversation, you put conflict resolution as a high priority. Mm-hmm. What if there's one person? What if you're seeing a spouse and one of those two people doesn't respond well to conflict resolution, or they just shut down? Like, do you work with that person individually? Like, how do you get that person to come? I mean, you can't really get the person, but how does that person come on brand? If they're like, yo, this is just how I deal with situations, this is just how I deal with it. Like, is there a way to convince somebody that doesn't conflict resolve appropriately? Is there a way, do you show them like materials or things like
me
that?
as a coach or
Yes.
me as a wife?
As a
Because those
coach.
two different people.
As a coach.
Right?
As a coach.
Okay, so as a coach, yes, it is my job, again, to show you what barriers are getting in your way of what you genuinely want, which is intimacy and connection, right? Mm-hmm. That's why we all enter intentional relationships for someone that we want to be with long term. So it is my job, through materials, through coaching, through asking appropriate questions, right? Like, what's really coming up for you in this moment? Where do you feel it in your body? What are your thoughts around conflict resolution, right? What are your thoughts when your wife or your husband presents in this way? Something is happening if you're shutting down. So it is my job to ask the appropriate questions, and it would depend on like what the situation is. Sometimes I have to see, right? I might have clients that's a couple. I might need to see them individually because they don't have a safe space yet. They don't trust. They don't know how to build a safe space. But being able to peel those layers back, something is under the surface brewing, right? And a lot of times we think, oh, it's because of them. A lot of us are still struggling, again, and we talked about this earlier, to have our voices be heard. I don't know how to articulate myself. Men don't have as many words as women, right? So there's already a gap in that. How do I bring myself to say the thing that's hurting when I don't even believe or I don't trust that in this space I'm gonna be held? Mm-hmm. That in this space I'm gonna be seen, that in this space my experience is gonna be respected. So there are a lot of layers to pull back, right? And a lot of times, believe it or not, it does start with our parental figures. What did they teach you about conflict resolution? Whether that's you being a pushover, a people pleaser, or that's you just like not wanting to deal with conflict because maybe conflict was chaotic in your house. For me, for a very long time, I did not want to deal with conflict because I was afraid of the break in belonging, right? If I step up to say this thing that I don't like, are you going to take your presence away from me? That's what my mother did. I did things she didn't like and she would just shut down for days. So now if I say something in this conflict, do I run the risk of no longer having you? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's not always about the other person.
So when that happens, you're seeing this couple, but there might be a time where you be like, you know what? I need to see you alone. Yeah. And you sit this one out. I'm going to sit with you for an hour and we'll resume next week with the both of y'all. You do stuff like that?
Absolutely. Or? Absolutely. Especially with my one-on-one clients outside of a group coaching experience, it is created that way. Whereas one week I will see the couple and then the next week I'll see the husband. And then next week I'll see the couple and the week after that I'll see the wife. Because I do understand that there are several experiences being had at the same time with the many different versions of us that show up.
Do you ever snitch? Be like, yo, you told me this when we met alone. This is what you were saying. And now you ain't acting like that.
No, if there's anything...
You don't call nobody out?
Not in that way. I'm very mindful of how I present what was said in complete discretion between myself and one
what
party,
if it's something
right?
that would be helpful?
If it's something that'll be helpful, I would bring it to their attention. Well, this is something that we should speak about with your significant other. How do you feel about it? Right? I understand that this is my client's experience. I don't know what's going on after they're done talking to me for an hour, but this is something that we definitely should bring up together. What would it look like for you? Is there anything that you're concerned about in terms of safety? Right? So I'm going to walk them through that process until we come into the place of agreement that, yeah, we need to deal with this.
Nice. Okay.
It's hard. It's hard.
You guys are speaking on some real shit. I got a few real things that I can speak to Siobhan about myself, and they're not all relationship shits. Like she said, you have relationships not only with yourself but family, friends, and if you don't, how you react to one situation, how you don't react, and how you whatever you walk away with, you carry it into the next one. Yep. If you don't mind, I'm probably going to use your quote, and I believe this is a quote that you use often as the title. I think everywhere you go, you are.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's going to be the title of the show. It's because I realize that in the way that I show up at now 48 years old, and I've had all of these different relationships that I wasn't able to communicate in, and so I walked away feeling some type of resentment or guilt or whatever it may be. I show up in the next one like that, and now I'm doing things in this now relationship to cover how I felt about the last one, to avoid it, how I felt about this, or you know what I mean? And then am I being my true self? Am I being like some type of I don't want to say a shadow, but because I'm dancing around all of these things I got going on in my head, the person not even really seeing the real me because I'm doing all this covering. Am I right? You know what I'm saying?
You use the correct term. It is shadow.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not my full self. And so while y'all was talking, I was just sitting here just looking. I'm like, yo, it happens all the time. And then you see something happening, and you see a situation where it might not be that crazy, but because it reminds you of some way that you felt before, now you're responding to it before it even happens, and the person's like, wait, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
What you talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy. And now that person's dating you and whoever else hurt you in the past, and whoever you used to be back then, and you know what I mean, combined with what happened in the next situation. It's just fucking crazy. But we are somebody said Tahoe about to say, what if they were a Virgo? With all of this shit, nigga.
That was one quick question. I know you're about to wrap it up. Do you believe in like zodiac compatibility?
No. I believe in healed compatibility.
Do you think Virgos are good in relationships?
You a Virgo?
Depends
Some
on
days?
what day. Depends
When
on
your
what
birthday?
Day. February 25th.
Ain't no Virgo then.
My rising is a Virgo though. So that's a whole thing, zodiac thing. So
Yeah,
the
I don't
things
really
that
know
I
much
don't
about
like
that.
about Virgos is really how I present in most situations. It's how I act, right? So I don't like that I don't want to say micromanage, but they got to be there with, or they're gonna question why you did it this way. You know what I'm saying? I do that to him all the time. Think about it. When we started the show, he said something. I'm like, well, why would you do that? Or you know what I mean? Or you gonna do this or that? It's like they fucking annoying, just mad annoying, and they can't stop. It's just how they are, and I know that's how I am. So it's like how I present a lot of ways is Virgo.
So I have a quick follow-up question, right? So you don't believe in zodiac compatibility. What about just general compatibility? Like, have you ever seen a couple where it's like oil and vinegar, where you're like, y'all just are not compatible? Because I feel like you mentioned earlier in the convo that, you feel like if there's always a chance to work things out. But is there certain people that are just like, nah?
Most of them Virgos.
Yeah, I genuinely do believe in not being compatible with someone.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would advise, like, if it's a dating scene, yeah, and if a person came to me for like premarital, they're not married yet, yeah, those are some things that I would call out.
But if they're already married,
if you already married, it's like you signed up for this. You knew, you didn't just find out today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is beyond compatibility. This is a lot of what you thought you was going to change when you got married, and now that you married and you realize that ring ain't change a thing, you got a problem.
Or what you thought you could accept.
Yes, that too. What you thought you could accept. And this is the thing that I tell people about marriage. Marriage causes your trauma to trauma differently. Because there is a deeper level of intimacy required to be married. Like, you can't hide in marriage. It's but so long you can pretend, have this mask on. So it's different than any other relationship that you're in.
That being said, we are about to end part 1. Take a small break. Maybe we'll pour some wine. I'm not sure. But come back into part 2, which our producer has all of these relationship-based situations. I'm going to test your skills.
I'm going to test my skills.
You want to test your skills, all right? And see how you show up, as a coach. And, Trauma and I will be here to be as toxic as we possibly can be. On the way out, though, I do have a clip to play. We'll see y'all in a few seconds. Well, y'all know what it is, next Thursday or whatever the fuck it is. Here we go.
Because I really wanted something different. Why did you guys get a divorce? Because I really wanted something different. It's very unfortunate because he was the most loving, kind person. I had all the love and support that I could have ever wanted. But I think I went through a period wanting money. Like, I wanted to be with someone and be at a different level. And I saw him work all of the time. It's one thing to like work and work and work from like 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, day in, day out, and still have no resources. And for me to work, do the same, and just want a different life.
So, long story short, you wanted a different life and lifestyle than he was able to provide. And so you said, you know what, I'm out of here. I need more money.
I was selfish and took advantage of a real unfortunate situation, which was he loved me and David unconditionally. Every time we saw each other, like, you knew that was your soulmate, right? I mean,
Oh, so he was your soulmate? He just loved you.
He really did.
And you broke his heart. Oh, don't cry too.
She sounds so like.
Why the host gaslighting? Oh, he loved you.
You're a piece of shit.
That's really what she's saying.
Oh, you're a bitch. How does it feel? You're still alone. You never found anybody ever again, did you? We'll be right back.